Hello there, and welcome to my first video, just kind of a rundown of how I built this cemetery diorama and some of the aspects that go into it when I'm shooting my toys, and Jason or Freddy or Pennywise or Chucky or Bride of Chucky, any of those. I am currently using this for that type of genre. Of course, we're getting close to Halloween, so this is pretty cool. So if you have toys like this that you want to shoot, or toys like this that you want to give them a good backdrop, a good scene, then I'm going to just kind of run through how to go about building this. All right, now the base itself is just some polystyrene, this stuff you get from Home Depot, about an inch thick and about 24 inches square. Works great for just this size. And I have, you know, 2 or 3 different dioramas that I've built that I use that's this size. And the actual base here, if you can see here, is actually just like, I bought this gravel stuff in a container at Walmart. I don't have the container anymore. And I basically just put this little gravel, little bitty bits of gravel. I put some Mod Podge on the bottom of it, and I just sprinkled that, went crazy, sprinkled that gravel all over the thing and just let it sit for a day. Then I went over it with some, some spray paint, and I used this Rust-Oleum camouflage paint, and this color here is Deep Forest Green, and I think there was a little bit of brown that I used in it too, but mostly it's this Deep Forest Green that I bought. And I think I got this, like I said, Home Depot. They love me there because I spend a lot of money there buying stuff. The tombstones are made out of the same material that the base is, and if you look, get that light off of there, if you look, you can see the pink on the back side of this one a little bit. And all I did was just took some a hot wire cutter, and I cut that polystyrene out to make different tombstones. Then you can just cut different shapes and sizes. This one has this texture on the side of it where I cut it because I didn't have anything lined up as a guard to go against it, but it still has pretty good edges and things like that. And if you want to, you can use the front side, and I took a wire brush or a nylon brush to this. Wire brush sometimes tends to be a little bit too aggressive, and you can use one and it'll go quicker and it'll give it a totally different feel. But just using a nylon brush, you know, just something I got at Harbor Freight, just something like this. You know, the bristles are stiff, but they're not too bad. It works pretty good. So yeah, and just a little bit of gray acrylic paint with some white acrylic, just kind of, you know, go crazy with it and just come up with something that looks like a, you know, a concrete tombstone. So that's how I did the tombstones on all of this. Now the trees in the background, those actually, that big black tree actually came from Michael's, and I've got 3 of those things, and I bought them in the Halloween section, so I don't know how long they'll have them, but they ended up being pretty cool. And then I took one of them and I put this moss onto it, so it actually ends up looking like some pretty cool trees. The other trees were actually just some sticks off of a branch that I found that actually have the look of old trees, and I thought they, you know, they kind of rounded things out for the diorama itself. The back is foam board, black foam board, stuff you get at like Walmart or any craft supply store, anything like that, Michael's, Jeffrey Allen's, anybody like that. The moon I painted on just once again with acrylic paint. The stars are just splattered white paint that I took a paintbrush and just kind of flicked the paint on there in order to get it to have that look of stars. And then of course I had this lights that I have hanging up over the back, and that light itself, I think I got that at Harbor Freight. I think I paid like 15 bucks for it, and you know, that gives me a good backlight to emulate moonlight. And it's got 2 different power settings. I got it on the lowest setting right now, and it does a really good job for backlighting your toys if you're going to be doing this kind of thing. The moss that he's standing on is basically this Proflora forest moss, and I got that at, I mean, you can buy it in a roll, you can buy it in a mat. I bought a roll of it, and this is actually from this package, this mat, and I got it at Walmart. I think I paid like $4 for that. And just take it, cut it however big you want it, and glue it down on top of everything, and then all of this moss and all of this vegetation and all of these things, that came from Hobby Lobby, and they have a box that has just various assorted pieces of this in it. And I think it was like $12. It was on sale, and it sat for a long time because I really didn't know what I was going to do with it. And then I come up with, oh yeah, let's try this. And I went and grabbed the box and I threw it in here, and it actually ended up looking and doing pretty good. So of course you see there's a bit of blood stain here. That's some stage blood I used from Jason the other day. Had to put a little bit of blood all over him. But now that hose you see right there, that's actually going, excuse the mess, I'm still working on another diorama, but that's actually going to this Gecko GY450 smoke machine, and I bought that off of Amazon. I think I paid like $25 for it. This hose here came, I think I paid $9 or $10 for it from Home Depot, and it kind of kicks the fog out to give me that fog effect when I'm shooting pictures. The light I use for lighting is an American DJ P36 LED stage light. Man, this thing works awesome. It does such a good job. You can run it just bare like it is. You could filter it if you wanted to. You can feather and kind of feather the light to get it just exactly where you want it. Now be careful though when you're shooting, because if you do that, it's going to throw shadows on your background. So you want to be sure that when you're shooting, you get it to where it's not capturing shadows, because the sky doesn't have shadows. So yeah, that's a pretty cool light to use for this. And it's got an adjustment setting on the back. If you look, it's got sensitivity setting, and if I actually set the sensitivity, it will change with my voice if I change it just a little bit. But usually when I'm shooting, I'm real quiet and I've got the light on, and what I'll do is I'll tap the light to get it to change. So the green light, it actually looks pretty cool. And what I'll do is I will feather that light just a little bit, and with the background and or the backlight and this background and the cemetery, you add a little bit of fog to it, and you end up getting a pretty cool. I had to shut my fan off, because if I don't shut my fan off, it sends the fog everywhere. So, and it's hot where I'm at. So you end up getting a pretty cool effect with the backlight, this light, and the fog. And I have a remote, which is pretty cool, that came with the fog machine, and you hit this button here to turn it on, and then you hit this one to turn it off. And so we'll layer some fog onto this. And you got to make sure that your fog machine has it hooked up right, because if you don't, you're not going to get good fog. I'll just say that. So it doesn't really fit, the hose doesn't really fit my fog machine very good, but you see the effect you get with the fog. And if I had a camera and I was to snap pictures in here, you'd end up with a pretty cool picture. So and the fog machine, what's really cool about it is once in a while, yeah, it'll do that little puff of smoke. So when you're taking pictures, you know, you might not want all the smoke that's out there, but you might want just a little bit. And if you notice, that smoke will sometimes linger on the ground back there where it's coming from. And if you angle your camera right, you got your camera right, you're not going to get that in. And you can also take that hose and get it out in post. So my fog machine is not cooperating with me tonight. So course, I may be out of fog juice, so, but you get the general idea. I'm not going to go through and change the fog juice right now, but you get the general idea. Pretty simple setup. Takes you just a couple of days to build this. Just take your time with it and just go crazy with it. There are no rules when you make these, and there's no certain right or wrong way. And Pennywise, well, he's down for the count again. So, all right. Oh, skeletons. Did I tell you about the skeletons? These little skeletons? Yeah. Got them at like Dollar Tree. And got a package of them. I think I got a package of them for like $1. So one of them's missing a head because I've got the skull laying around here somewhere. I think I put it in a bag with some of my toys. But yeah, those work pretty good too. So yeah, get yourself some styrofoam, build yourself a cemetery, and just have fun with it. Because, well, Halloween's coming, and if you're into toy photography like I am, this is a great setup to use for all of your toys. So, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it, and we'll